Hey there, I'm Josh Levine, and this is my beginner's crash course on electric guitar amps. If you're a fan of my channel, Josh Levine Speaks, you know I do my best to build shows and series around the things I hope you find as interesting as I do, and I love guitars. I've played since the age of 4, toured professionally, and owned and operated a music store for over a decade, and gave lessons for even more. So today, I just want to give you like a brief crash course on guitar amps because I want you to know what to look for yourself and your needs, explain a little bit about power, discuss size and capabilities, tube versus solid state, and more. So here goes. If this sounds good to you, you know what? Do me a favor and subscribe below, maybe share with a friend, and leave a comment. Tell me what you're using. I'd love to hear about that. That's how I learn what you guys like and want more of. You guys and gals always give me the best new show topic ideas. So here we go. Guitar amps.
My head it spins when you strut your stuff. That's how it begins when you strut your stuff.
Let me just start by saying you have several amazing options today, and your money goes a lot further than it did even 10 or 15 years ago. There's so much versatility out there. I know it can be tough to know exactly what's right for you, especially if you're just starting out. Heck, even if you're seasoned and looking for another amp, it can be very challenging. When I played professionally, I used to swap out amps, like our other guitar player said, like underwear, and I was always searching for that perfect tone. Believe me, I get it. But today you can almost dial up anything with what's out there. I really hope this video acts as like a crash course checklist of things to keep in mind when you are amp shopping. Most of this applies to amps under $500 too. You know, there's pricier models in your future, but right now we're gonna get you the basics. Let's talk power. How much power are you gonna need? 88 million gigawatts? No, I mean in your everyday practice. If it's gonna be a practice amp, there's still a lot of options, even at this price point. Do you know what type of music you're gonna be playing? What is the setting? You know, are you indoors, outdoors, in the garage? When you answer all those questions, you'll be much closer to a decision. Are you planning to play mostly at home? Will there be others jamming along with you? Is that dated to say? Do we still say jamming? Anyway, are you in a band and will you be gigging with this new amp? There's a new rule of thumb has always been, the rule of thumb has always been 10 to 50 watts is a practice amp, and that's more than adequate. If you're playing out the full band, you should have 50 to 100 watts because you got to keep up with the Joneses. And by the Joneses, I mean that bass player with the giant rig or the drummer that plays full throttle and has no concept of the word dynamics, people. All right, next up, how big? Okay, how big, I'm really talking about how portable is really the question to be answered. When I had roadies, I did not care. But when I was back in the original band bar scene huffing my own gear, I sure did. Your home amps are generally smaller and don't move around as much unless the family is chasing you from room to room. The more portable the amp is, the less power typically, but not always so, that you need. There are smaller amps these days that will give you tons of power to keep up with a full band in about a third the size. You don't need a half stack, but you need the output to be in mind so you can comfortably move around on a regular basis yet play with other people if that's what you're looking to do. Versatility. Do you want clean, mean, or both? Do you mostly play acoustic or clean with no effects? Are you a blues man or woman and you need a little crunch? Do you plan on ripping heads off and need serious shred power? Crazy effects can be fun when you really get the hang of them, and you can truly create amazing, unique sounds with today's amps out there. However, they're not always necessary, and for some, they just become a gadget that you don't use. You know the style of music you like, so you know what you're looking for there. If you want a great clean channel with no effects, a simple single channel amp might be fine for you. Might even give you a little more power for that budget. And remember, you can always add effects later. But if you're experimental, make sure you check out one of these new modeling amps because the effects are insane. Here's the age-old amp question. Tube versus solid state. You may or may not know tube amps generally cost more as their manufacturing costs are so much greater. But it might be a must-have for you. Purists and audiophiles love all things tube. The sound is unmistakably different. Tube amps typically have a warmer sound. I find it's like people wanting a record player versus a CD player. I just don't think of tube amps as practice amps personally. Solid state amps can produce a wider range of effects and sounds at a lower practice volume. Also, the newer modeling state-of-the-art solid state amps can emulate tube sound pretty darn close. If you want that big raw sound of a classic tube amp, then by all means step up. And you will step up with money. You'll see what I mean when you're looking into those. So now budget. Your needs versus your want. With great power comes great responsibility. Oh wait, I mean more expense. More power is typically more money, and we all know music can become a very expensive habit or hobby, like being a race car driver. You know, will you need effect pedals in your future, or are you going to get the sound you want now? Be sure to figure out exactly what you want before making your amp decision. You may save a lot in the long run by going with a modeling amp or one with all the bells and whistles built in, but maybe you want to start slowly and build your arsenal. Pedals are awesome too. Now that you've digested all that, go out there and start sampling. If you need help, this is where I have other review videos that might help you choose something specific to your taste and needs. I do have a great video for amps under $500. I hope this helped you and helps you understand a bit more how to make a more confident decision. Please share this with a friend. Click subscribe, like, and let me know what you think. And don't forget, if you're stuck deciding on an amp, I'm always happy to give you a little bit of advice. Shoot me through the comments or just email me at josh@joshlevinespeaks.com. I'm always giving amp advice. Until next time, my friends. That was really cheesy, but I liked it.